Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 456. I am Brendan. All right, UFC 312, Duplessis versus Strickland, numero dos. We're going to talk about that fight. We're going to talk about all the fights from the main card here. Break them all down round by round, and if you're looking for the prelims, that'll be in the next video. We got a lot to talk through here, so if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel. The next video is coming out. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get right into this. We got two title fights to go through that both went the distance. All right, main event, Dricus Duplessis defending his title against Sean Strickland. All right, in the first, I keep saying all right, like it's not all right. The first fight was relatively close. There was not a lot of separation round by round. There was a couple moments. Obviously, the first and the fifth were clearly Strickland's, and then I forget, I didn't rewatch it for this, but when you go back and look at all the individual rounds, none of them were far and away for one person. There were clear winners, but it wasn't so definitive, right? So this was a legitimate rematch. I don't think this was forced. Sean Strickland took out Paulo Costa, and then coming back to fight for the title instead of just sitting on it and waiting, and he could have gotten another title shot. So looking at what we got here was a relatively lackluster end to the night. Both title fights. This is not just on Duplessis and Strickland. This is also on Weili and Suarez, but in this fight, right, it starts out early. The front kick to the body from Duplessis is going well. He's using the low kicks, and they are getting checked. Strickland checked him pretty much the entire fight. Strickland just looking like usual, just out of range, trying to work his way in, get the jab and the right hand going. Sometimes they were landing, sometimes they weren't. More activity from Duplessis, even if most of it's blocked or checked. And a boring round with Duplessis with more activity, 10-9. Strickland really needs to pick it up and make sure that he's putting the pressure on him. Otherwise, it's going to go to Duplessis in every round if it looks like this, which is ended up what happening. Spoiler alert here. The kick up the guts. The kick up the gut is there for Strickland. I don't know why he didn't throw that more often. It was there all day for him, especially at range. He could have just flicked that out there and then worried about the counters as they came, but he didn't use it enough. Duplessis is throwing more kicks. He's just throwing more out there. Big overhand right landing for Strickland and a lead hook. Duplessis really committed to those low kicks, even if they're getting checked, like I said. Duplessis opens up with the Strickland, and then Strickland counters with a hard right hand and then a left hook as he slides out of the way. The most success Strickland had was with those counter moments or when he was leading the dance. Later on, when Duplessis would shell up, Strickland would open up, but it wasn't often enough. With 30 seconds left, it's a really close round. Duplessis was up, and Strickland needed to land a big combo to end this round to win it. Nothing. Very close round. Again, activity was winning it for me. That first round was 20-16 in favor of Duplessis. This one, 31-29 in favor of Duplessis. Like, if you gave this to Strickland, I'd understand, especially because of those 15 head strikes as opposed to the 7 coming back at him. Those leg kicks were there. Like I said, though, 17 of 19. Do I think all 17 of those landed flush? And in that first round, I know for damn sure Strickland blocked, or he checked like at least 4 of them, right? So these numbers do not bear out actually what happened. And I know offense is offense, so I'm not saying that they don't count for anything or that they don't do damage. They absolutely do, but a checked kick is essentially the same thing as a blocked punch. It's not landed, right? We don't count punches that land on the shoulders as an effective strike. We don't count punches that land on the hands as an effective strike, even though they technically do damage. Same with kicks. So why are we allowing kicks that are blocked to be counted as effective striking? So if you really go back and look at this one, Sean Strickland could have won this. I just felt like the damage was relatively even, and then the pressure and the activity, right? The 60, it wasn't even that big of a difference. Again, a very close round. I gave it to Duplessis. I had him up 20-18. Third round. This round needs to be where Strickland picks it up. He's going to lose this just on volume. And Duplessis starts extending his combos, landing that right hand, but Strickland leaning back, taking the sting off of it. Still landed, though. Strickland finally opens up when Duplessis shells up. That's what I alluded to earlier. Halfway through, this round is looking exactly like the last 2 rounds. And Strickland doesn't have the one-punch power to be like this, and he's losing this even though he's landing these big overhand rights. He would land a couple of them. That's all he's doing, though. 20 seconds left. Duplessis gets the takedown. They get right back up. This is 30-27. Just not a good place to be in for Strickland. Down 3 rounds in a title fight, essentially needing a finish. That's striking numbers 39-24. That was Duplessis' most effective round. Now, number 4, the fourth round is where it gets interesting. not because of any finicky things happening, but I have like a takeaway. So Du Plessis is just, banking all that activity early in these rounds, and he lands a big right hand breaking Strickland's nose, which had him grabbing at it. We'll talk about that in a second. So he's grabbing at it, and he was retreating and still grabbing his nose. I figured what he was doing, but it wasn't confirmed until till after the round was over. That punch, it landed relatively flush, but it wasn't like a forward punch. Like, the reason why it broke the nose is because Strickland turned with it, and it landed like this, right? And put that sideways pressure, which applies most of that punch's pressure right onto the bridge of the nose. The nose is not a very durable bone. Like, these bones in here, and just in general, the cartilage that's in here, it's very soft. So if you just punch it sideways, there's, you can break a nose doing just that, not even landing it clean, right? Just that sideways pressure can break a nose. Strickland composes himself, fighting back, landing that right hand. Here's the thing. He outstruck Du Plessis in this round. I didn't know that, right? I don't look at these striking numbers until I'm doing this, because I want to look at it fresh. I want my opinions to be great. My opinions to be that of a judge, which is not have the striking numbers available to them. He outlanded him here 28-21, and I believe that. And I wrote down, if that happened, if that nose break happened earlier in the fight, I feel like we would have seen a better performance by Strickland. It maybe not the nose break necessarily, but a big punch landing that like hurt Strickland. I feel like he turns it up when he feels pain, and that didn't happen until the fourth round. And look what happened. He ends up outstriking him in this fourth round, which is the only round that he landed more strikes in, is the round that he definitively lost, or not definitively, he lost a lot of them definitively. The most clear round for Du Plessis is the round that Du Plessis got outstruck. Okay. And then obviously it's 40-36. And then Strickland says that he broke, that Du Plessis did break his nose, but he reset it. Like, what the fuck is this guy? Like, that's like some macho tough shit. But he just, in the fight, he is just so locked in. It's just, he's just there to do his job. And his job is to stay in there and keep fighting. So he just did what he needed to do. Like, you've seen people reset their shoulders. You've seen people, reset their fingers after they get broken or dislocated. But to, like, literally just move your nose back over after it's broken, that's bananas. And then this last round, Strickland just can't find any sort of rhythm. He couldn't find it in any round. It's just him being behind all the time in the numbers. He's just not throwing as much. He's not pressing forward enough. He's just getting outstruck. And Du Plessis started to look like he was sparring in this round. And then 50-45. I'm not going to make excuses for Strickland, because I don't think this the staph infection is why he lost this. I think Du Plessis' pressure and awkwardness is really what threw him off. But I can't imagine that the staph infection helped. Right? He obviously had one on his shoulder, and we've seen it all. If you've never had staph, it's absolutely debilitating. And the fact that he has staph and he was able to fight like that is unbelievable. So what's next? All right. Some interesting things. So you got Imavov coming off that win. I would rather see him fight. I don't want to see Chimaev fight. Like, Chimaev needs to fight somebody else. If he wants to go fight Strickland, then so be it. But, we've seen all the issues with him not being able to make it to fights, not being able to make it on weight, not being able to leave the country for whatever reason. Like, it's very complicated to get him into the octagon, let alone be a title and then work an entire card around him fighting for a title or being the champion. So I think he needs at least one more fight. And, he skipped a lot of lines to get where he is now. He has skipped over a lot of people. And just like Alex Pereira before him has gotten the advantage of doing that, I would like him to fight at least one more person in the top 5. Like, maybe him versus Adesanya, maybe him versus I wouldn't fight him versus put him against Imavov. Maybe him versus Strickland, but I'd like to see him to have one more fight in the top 5. Imavov putting on that performance against Adesanya, again, that one punch after the eye poke, I don't think it necessarily means that he's like, that was an outstanding performance, but he is consistently beat people in this division that he's needed to, and he's worked his way up the division properly. I think he deserves a title shot, but that's not why this is interesting. Du Plessis called out Alex Pereira. So if Alex Pereira wants to move back down a weight class, I don't know if he does. He seems like he wanted to move up to heavyweight, but right now he's taking on Ankalaev, and then there's a good chance that he might go try and fight Jones or whoever has the belt, the real belt. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually more interested with him fighting Imavov. All right, Zhang Weili taking on Tatiana Suarez. Weili Zhang is just incredible. She is. I thought this was going to be an uphill battle for Suarez. You just had to see how the grappling went early, and that was going to tell the story of the fight. If you're less, if this is one of the first fights you've ever seen, or you've never you're more of a casual fan, and you saw how that first round went, you'd be like, oh, cool. Suarez is going to win this. I'll explain why I didn't think so. So first landed kick from Zhang, and Suarez gets in on the body lock. Zhang tries to hip over and get on top, but no dice there. That changed later. Suarez right into side control. She controls her until like 50 seconds left because Suarez went for a guillotine and pulled guard. She popped out of that guillotine, and then just control for control, because that's what this round was. There was one significant strike landed this entire round for Zhang. Do I think that did more damage than any of the positions that they were in? No. I don't think any of that mattered. She landed, one leg kick? Come on. So 3 minutes and 8 seconds to 1 minute and 9 seconds of control time. Total strikes 31-23. If you gave this to Zhang, I could understand, but I don't think there was anything from her that really put her over the top. So I wrote down, I was like, based off this round, Suarez really looks like she needs to make an adjustment because she wasn't able to do much with her position, even though she got in control. And I didn't think that she was going to be able to get those kinds of takedowns consistently. Zhang has a really good gas tank, and her takedown defense is pretty darn good. And when Zhang got on top, Suarez was not able to get out. So Suarez goes to takedown again along the fence, but Zhang gets on top. Suarez gets back up at 255, right back in on the takedown, but she's just taken so much damage this round. I mean, not a ton, but like way too much compared to what she did in the first round. So even if Suarez got control and got on top, would she be able to get this round back? I didn't think so. Zhang using the low kick to set up that 1-2, landing a right hand really clean. Zhang gets on top after a failed takedown yet again. And like I said at the end of the first round, Suarez needed an adjustment. She didn't make one. I had it 19-19. Striking numbers in this one, 10-0 in favor of Zhang. And if you look at the control time, Zhang out-controlled her as well, 219-127. And that 2 minutes is a legit 2 minutes because she was on top. All right, third round. Suarez going with a low kick, and they're kind of light, and Zhang counters with the right hand over the top. And there it is again, a low kick from Suarez, and Zhang wobbles her with that right hand. And Suarez could win this round with pressure if she's able to make Zhang work, right? If she was able to impose her will and make Zhang work and constantly with the takedown attempts and like going back up, down, there was a way that she could have done this. And that was the adjustment I was looking for her to make, because, getting deep on a takedown attempt and then just holding and stalling there, you're not really making them work. You're doing the work, so you're going to get more tired. And I know this is hindsight, and this is me not being in there, and I know her game plan was what it was, but you got to be able to make those adjustments, especially when fighting for a title. Suarez just isn't even throwing strikes in range. She's just standing on the outside, pawing at the air. Zhang is running away with this one, and if it goes this way, we are in for a relatively boring fight, which this ended up being. 29-28, striking numbers. This is the most striking in any of the rounds, 19-8 in favor of Zhang. Fourth round, Zhang gets the trip, works in an arm triangle, goes some ground and pound, cutting up Suarez. Just a dominant round for Zhang. Not quite a 10-8 for me, but that cut on Suarez's knee. Oh, yeah, there was a cut on Suarez's knee. I think that happened either in the first round or second round after an attempted takedown. She sliced it on the bottom of the cage. So that got really bad, but luckily it didn't affect the fight. 39-37 in favor of Zhang for me, 7-3 for striking numbers in this round. Lots of control time, 4 minutes and 27 seconds for Zhang. Last round, in the grappling sequences, Suarez just can't get an advantage anymore. Zhang's just able to get on top, and that's the rest of the fight. 16-1 for striking numbers in this last round, 2 minutes and 53 seconds of control time. Zhang is the champion. Zhang's amazing. Suarez just couldn't make the adjustment that she needed to. She couldn't do anything different, and because of that, she frustratingly comes up short. I think it's going to be a difficult task for anybody to beat her in the division. but she's going to need to be more active to get a title shot before her time is up. All right. Tallison Teixeira versus Justin Tafa. This is a quick one. We don't need to look at a ton of stats for this. Teixeira with the high kick blocked as he's a really tall dude, and that kick comes up pretty fast. He goes takedown, nothing there. In the clinch, Teixeira lands an elbow in the clinch and gets a TKO finish. So he breaks Justin Tafa's nose with that. Tafa instantly gets up and says, "You didn't let me defend it." Now, I am usually the one who is not in favor of quick stoppages. We'll talk about that in the prelims. The very first fight was that, and it was horrible. This one, understandable. Justin Tafa grabs his face, shells up, and falls to the ground. If you take any punches in that position without looking to do any sort of grappling or standing back up, literally any other offensive moves or defensively minded moves other than sitting there and turtle, the fight's going to get stopped. So I understand that one. I don't have a problem with it. It's just unfortunate because you always want a banger with Justin Tafa, and this is not what we got. We had a relatively quick finish with a lackluster ending. All right, Rodolfo Bellato versus Jimmy Crute. This was interesting because you have a referee who's more quick on the trigger. Who was the referee for this one? Mark Goddard. He runs the gambit, man. Sometimes he stops fights short. I think he has a quicker trigger than some people, but then sometimes he lets fights go. I think he does a relatively good job of it, but sometimes he does screw up. I don't think he screwed up in this one. Crute with the jab and the spinning kick to the body, landing well, and Bellato going low kick. Bellato goes for a body lock trip, and Crute gets his hips higher, gets the mount, and god dang, that was slick. Stays on top of him, lands a couple of shots. Crute on top until 30 seconds left, and then Crute lands a huge right hand that stuns him and then puts him on wobbly legs. They exchange. Crute drops him with another right hand and ends the round with ground and pound. I think that fight could have been stopped, and I don't think people would have had a problem with it. It didn't, and we ended up going to a decision, but 10-8 round for sure. 27-1 for striking numbers in favor of Crute, nearly finishing the fight at the end. That is a 10-8 round if I've ever seen one. Second round, Bellato landing low kicks to that lead leg, and now Crute coming over the top with that right hand, landing clean. Crute goes takedown. Second effort gets him down, but just can't get anything with it, and Crute starts looking winded. Right? I think he went a little bit all out in that first round, gassed himself. Bellato finding his second win first and upping his volume, landing with the 1-2s, the low kicks, a big right hand and uppercuts, landing for Crute in tight. One big shot could win this round with 60 seconds left, but Crute, he lands a right straight. He was landing that right straight at will with the low kicks coming from Bellato, messing with his movement. Close round. Neither guy staggered, but I might lean Bellato just barely. So I had it 19-18. And look at that round, 48-46 for striking numbers. That's a very close round. I don't think either guy got really hurt. If you put more weight into Crute, he didn't show it, right? He didn't fall on that. Yes, he showed that he was in pain, but he didn't really express how bad that damage was. So you could give this round to Crute. I did not. 19-18. Last round, Crute shoots takedown immediately after taking some low kicks, and he just can't get it. They're trading pretty even on the feet. The difference is those low kicks from Bellato are putting him over the top. Crute still landing that clean right hand and that the lead hook in tight. With 50 seconds left, Bellato is up in this round. Crute needs a big moment, but Bellato wins this last round. It would be a draw. It should be a draw unless there's idiots watching it. So 40-33 for striking numbers in favor of Bellato. If you look at the scorecards here. All right. It should be a draw or Crute wins, right? Mike Bell and David Lethaby both score at the same 28-28. That's how I had it. Mark Collette giving that second round to Crute, putting him up 29-27, but this is a majority draw finish. I'm okay with all those scorecards. Like I said, that second round, depending on how much weight you put into that low kick, you could easily give it to Bellato, or if you don't think they added up and you thought Crute's shot did slightly more damage. I'm saying there's only 2 strike differential. That's a pretty close round in my book. Good fight, though. Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. What a performance. This was the first fight of the main card, and boy, did it deliver. It was absolutely fantastic. I love this one. Matthews with that tight boxing, and Prado has the shell up high, catching a lot of it on the arms early. Prado going with the low kicks and Matthews countering with a hard right hand. Matthews going with the 1-2-3, and they are all with power. That jab, the straight, and the lead hook all have power. Prado overextending, gets caught by a right hand, and then in the clinch, Matthews lands like 8 uppercuts. That lead hook of Matthews is so fast, and if it lands clean, it's going to be a problem for Prado. He's still landing those low kicks, right? Prado's still landing those low kicks, but he's getting countered now. Cut over the right eye of Prado at one point. Prado gets that body lock takedown. Nothing with it. They get back up. In the longer exchanges, Prado loses his composure and drops his guard. It doesn't return his guard fast enough. Leaves his head on center just a little bit too much, or goes the wrong direction. And because of that, let's see here. The last shot in those exchanges is from Matthews, and he's landing him much better, and he takes this one 10-9 clearly. Striking numbers, Prado did outstrike him 22-20, but if you look at where all those went, the big differential here, 8 leg strikes to 0 of Matthews and 17-5 for head strikes in favor of Matthews, right? So Prado outlanded him in leg strikes, but those did not add up to all the damage that he took to the head. Second round, Matthews with the pressure now and running through those low kicks, extending his combos to the body. Prado looks like he's just overwhelmed with the pressure, and he wants to settle in and just throw as Matthews enters. It's not completely one-sided, but Matthews is landing cleaner more often and to the head and the body. Right? When both guys get tired, the one with better experience and cleaner technique tends to get the better of it, and that's what we saw play out here. Right? Prado pushes him to the fence to get a break, but does nothing with it, so it's just control time. Matthews, again, getting the better of the damage in this round. The only reason you can give it to Prado is if you don't care about damage and you give that clinch to him. So he got outstruck 22-18. He did have more control, 1 minute and 16 seconds of it, but there is no way you can give him that round. Last round, the pressure from Matthews is giving Prado issues, and the low kick from Prado is his best shot, right? That's his best chance to win, in my opinion, is to land those, make him not be able to move that well, and possibly land a right hand or drop him with a leg kick. Matthews rolling really well still and landing that lead hook as Prado digs to that lead leg. Prado looks for a break along the cage again, but Matthews lands knees in tight, even though he's the one being backed up. Fight ends with Matthews controlling the clinch, and he's got this one in the bag. 26-19. Looking at the scorecards here, no surprises. Saul D'Amato, Charlie Keech, and Clements Warner all scoring it correctly. All 3 rounds for Matthews. Okay, that is it. Wow, we got this done really fast. That was the main card. The prelims are going to be in the next video. If you like this thing, if you liked this video, hit the subscribe button so you know when the next one's coming out, and hit the like button too. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys enjoy watching this card? Are you not going to watch it because the 2 main fights were kind of stinkers and you've heard about them? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Love you guys. Peace.